Now the question is, name a transition element which does not exhibit variable oxidation states. Let us see, students, if I take 3D series elements. What are 3D series elements? Scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper and zinc. And previously we discussed that scandium to zinc means what I can say, this is third B group element, third B, fourth B, fifth B, sixth B, seventh B, eighth B, eighth B, eighth B, because eighth B occupy 3 vertical columns. This is first B and second B. You can say from third B group to second B group, all these elements are D block elements, but they are not transition elements. The reason is from third B group to first B group only they are transition elements. Second B group elements are D block, but they are not transition elements. So in the question they are asking about transition element. So no need to discuss about second B group element. And we know that titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper can exhibit variable oxidation states, whereas scandium exhibits only +3. So they are asking, name a transition element which does not exhibit variable oxidation states. So we should go through with scandium. Reason is what say, scandium is exhibiting particularly only +3 oxidation state, only one type of oxidation states. It cannot exhibit variable oxidation states. And actually zinc also can exhibit only +2 oxidation state. But why we are not discussing about zinc? Because zinc is not a transition element. It is not considered as transition element. It is a just a D block element. So answer is scandium +3. Done. Now the question is, how would you account for the irregular variation of ionization enthalpies, first ionization enthalpy and second ionization enthalpy in the first series of the transition elements? Let us see, students. Let us compare chromium with manganese. And here chromium atomic number is 24, manganese is what say 25. For chromium valency configuration is 4s1 3d5, for it is 4s2 3d5, and this is according to Aufbau rule we wrote. But actually if you write shell number wise, first shell, then second shell, then third shell and fourth shell will come. So for convenience if I write 3d5 4s1, here 3d5 4s2 it will be. And here if you see in S only unpaired electron is present, whereas here in manganese in S orbital we have a pair of electrons. And if you ask me, it is very easy to remove this electron. Reason is what say, it is unpaired electron, whereas to remove electron from this pair we need some more energy. Reason is what say, it is pair. So to remove electron from a pair it is somewhat difficult, so we need more energy. So we have started with a neutral isolated gaseous atom, means we should consider it in gaseous state, and we need here ionization energy 1 and here also ionization energy 1, and here ionization energy 1 is more for manganese when compared with chromium. Why here less energy? Unpaired electron. Why here more energy? Because we should remove electron from a pair. Now by using IE1, after removal of one electron, chromium is becoming chromium plus, here manganese is becoming manganese plus. Now chromium plus has configuration 3d5. Now 4 is 0. No need to discuss 4s because you eliminated electron. And d5 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exactly half filled. Whereas here manganese plus means you eliminate electron from 4s. Now it become 3d5 4s1. d5 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4s1 means 1. And here if in chromium plus, if you want to remove one more electron, you need IE2. From this, if you want to remove one more electron, here also you need IE2. The thing is, from chromium plus, you should eliminate electron from stable 3d5 configuration. So d5 means exactly half filled, more stable. To remove electron from the such species, we need more energy. Whereas in case of manganese plus, to remove electron, we should remove electron from 4s, not from 3d5. So it is easy to remove electron from 4s. So IE2 is more for chromium plus when compared with manganese plus. You can see students, IE1 is more for manganese, IE2 is more for chromium, means here ionization enthalpies depends on even electronic configuration also. Stable configuration, more ionization energy, stable configuration, more ionization energy, less stable configuration, ionization energy will be less. From this we can say that ionization energy of 3D series elements, it may be first ionization energy or second ionization energy, it depends on the stability of electronic configuration of given species. Right, done. Now the question is, silver atom has completely filled d orbitals, that is 4d10 configuration in its ground state. How can you say that it is a transition element? Let us see students, in the previous class we discussed that d block elements are those in which differentiating electron enters into d subshell, or you can say d orbital of penultimate shell. That is the definition we have given for d block elements. And how can you define transition element? Means the d block elements in which incompletely filled d subshell is present. I repeat, the d block elements in which incompletely filled d subshells are present either in the atomic state or in the common oxidation state. Such d block elements are known as transition elements. If you look at silver, and silver has 4d10 configuration. It has what say 4d10 configuration. 5s1 4d10. This is the valency configuration of what say silver. But if silver is exhibiting +2 oxidation state, in +2 oxidation state, +2 means what say loss of 2 electrons, and it has to lose 1 electron from 5s, 1 more from 4d, it becomes 4d9 5s0. And here d9 means how many? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and here d subshell is incompletely filled. So what I can say, of course in ground state, in the atomic state it has fully filled d subshell, but in +2 oxidation state it got incompletely filled d subshell. As a result, silver can be considered as a transition element, we can say. Now the question is, in the series scandium to zinc with atomic numbers 21 and 30 respectively, the enthalpy of atomization of zinc is the lowest, that is 126 kilojoules per mole. Why they are asking? Means in 3D series, if you consider from scandium to zinc, why enthalpy of atomization of zinc is very less? Let us see students. Now if you look at d block elements from third B group to first B group, you can have unpaired d electrons. Means in d subshell you can find unpaired electrons, and when unpaired d electrons are present, those unpaired d electrons can participate in metallic bond formation. When more number of unpaired d electrons are present, more number of electrons are participating in metallic bond formation. When more number of metallic bonds are formed, atoms are tightly packed, resulting species is very hard with high melting point values, at the same time high enthalpy of atomization. But if you look at zinc atomic number given 30 means 4s2 3d10. d10 means zinc has fully filled d subshell. Zinc has what say? Fully filled d subshell. When fully filled d subshells are present, in this no unpaired d electrons are present. As a result, in case of zinc, d electrons are not participating in metallic bond formation. When metallic bonds are not formed properly, what will happen? Atoms are not tightly packed. As a result, melting point is less. Not only that, even it has lowest enthalpy of atomization. So because of fully filled d subshell, unpaired d electrons are absent, d electrons are not involved in metallic bond formation. When metallic bonds are least, then closely packed arrangement is not observed, resulting species is not hard, it is soft comparatively. At the same time, melting point is less, enthalpy of atomization also less. So this is the reason why zinc has lowest enthalpy of atomization in 3D series. At the same time, not only zinc, second B group elements, zinc, cadmium, mercury, these elements are known as volatile metals. They are known as what say? Volatile metals. Volatile means what say? easily they will be getting evaporated. Why? At low temperature only, by giving less energy only, they will be easily getting evaporated. The reason is fully filled d subshell, much electrons are not participating in metallic bond formation, particularly d electrons are not participating in metallic bond formation. As a result, weak intra-atomic attractive forces easily gets evaporate. Less enthalpy of atomization can be considered as volatile metals, that is second B group elements zinc, cadmium and mercury. For this question, answer is because of fully filled d subshell. Now the question is, which are the following 3D series of the transition metals exhibit the largest number of oxidation states? And if you look at 3D series, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. These are the elements present in 3D series, but particularly they are asking about transition metals. No need to discuss about zinc as it belongs to second B. And among these, manganese is exhibiting more varieties of oxidation states, and you know they are manganese can exhibit +2, +3, +4, +5, +6 and +7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 types of oxidation states, means more varieties of oxidation states exhibited by manganese. And one more specialty is in the entire 3D series, highest oxidation state also exhibited by manganese, that is +7. Means in 3D series, manganese not only exhibiting more varieties of oxidation states, even manganese is exhibiting its highest oxidation state, that is +7, in the form of MnO4-1 and in the form of Mn2O7. So in the form of MnO4-1, that is permanganate ion, and in the form of Mn2O7, manganese can exhibit highest +7 oxidation state. Now the question is, which is a stronger reducing agent, chromium +2 or iron +2? Why they are asking? Let us discuss with the help of their electronic configuration. Chromium +2 and iron +2 they have given. Before that, chromium atomic number is 24, 4s1 3d5 is the valency configuration. Then chromium +2 means 4s0 3d4. +2 means loss of 2 electrons, one from 4s, one more from 3d, and it becomes 4s0 3d4. And here iron atomic number is 26, 4s2 3d6. Iron +2 means loss of 2 electrons, 2 from 4s, and it becomes 4s0 3d6. And if you look at students, the question is which is a stronger reducing agent between chromium +2 and iron +2 they are asking. And if you see, chromium +2 is converted to chromium +3, iron +2 is converted to iron +3. Now here, if you look at these two reactions, +2 is becoming +3, oxidation reaction, +2 is becoming +3, this is also oxidation reaction. And we know that the one which participates in oxidation reaction known as reducing agent, the one which participates in oxidation reaction known as reducing agent. So we find that chromium +2 is a reducing agent and iron +2 also a reducing agent. But the question is, which is stronger reducing agent they are asking. For that, if you see this. For chromium +3, if you write valency configuration, +3 means what? Say loss of 3 electrons, 1 from here, 2 from here, means you got 3d3 configuration. Iron +3 means here also loss of 3 electrons, 2 from here, 1 from here, you got 3d5 configuration. Means chromium +3 is with 3d3, whereas iron +3 is with 3d5 configuration. d3 if you write 1, 2, 3, d5 if you write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students. But in aqueous medium means in presence of water molecules, where water molecules are behaving like ligand. What we discussed, the d subshell splits into 2 sets of d orbitals. They are T2g and Eg. The d subshell splits into 2 sets of d orbitals. They are T2g and Eg. Now down to up energy increases, down to up energy increases, and here according to Aufbau rule, electrons are first filled in low energy orbitals. So these 3 electrons entered here, and here these 5 electrons entered into this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now look at this, students, T2G 3, and I can say this is exactly half filled, but here T2G 5. T2G 5 means it is neither half filled nor fully filled. So here in this case, iron plus 3 has neither half filled nor fully filled T2G set of d orbitals. So this is unstable configuration, whereas in case of chromium plus 3, T2G is exactly half filled. So this is stable electronic configuration, we can say. Now in aqueous medium, we got that chromium plus 3 is a stable species, iron plus 3 is unstable, or you can say less stable species. Why iron plus 3 is less stable? Once again, because in aqueous medium, T2G subshell is neither half filled nor fully filled. T2G set of orbitals neither half filled nor fully filled. So species is less stable. And look at this, students, chromium plus 2 is becoming stable chromium plus 3, but here iron plus 2 is becoming less stable iron plus 3, means this oxidation reaction is not taking place easily in aqueous medium. As a result, this is a weak reducing agent, whereas chromium plus 2 I can say readily, quickly converted to chromium plus 3. It is readily converted to chromium plus 3. Reason is what? Say chromium plus 3 is stable, means this oxidation reaction is fast. And we know the reducing agent is a strong reducing agent when it is readily, quickly participates in oxidation reaction. So as chromium plus 3 is stable, this oxidation reaction is taking place quickly. As oxidation reaction is readily taking place, that reducing agent is taken as, considered as strong reducing agent. So based on this, I can say chromium plus 2 is stronger reducing agent when compared with iron plus 2. And here the question they are asking, calculate the spin only magnetic moment of M plus 2 ion. Here M stands for a metal ion, M plus 2 ion, and here atomic number given what? Say 27. And we know that atomic number 27 means it is cobalt, and cobalt atomic number 27 valency configuration is 4s2 3d7. But here given plus 2 oxidation state, cobalt plus 2 means loss of 2 electrons from 4s, 4s0 3d7. And if you write the electronic configuration 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it has 3 unpaired electrons. Number of unpaired electrons represented by n, and they are asking you to find magnetic moment, and mu is equal to under root n into n plus 2 Bohr magneton. So under root 3 into 3 plus 2, and here it will be what? Say 3 plus 2 is what? Say 5, 5 3s are 15, root over 15 means around 3.9 Bohr magneton. So this is the magnetic moment value of cobalt plus 2. Now the question is, the color of KMnO4 is due to options given: ligand to metal charge transfer transition, sigma to sigma star transition, metal to ligand charge transfer transition, and DD transition. We know that transition metal ions in their aqueous solution and their compounds can exhibit color property mainly due to DD transition. And what do you mean by DD transition? The transfer of electron between one set of d orbital to another set of d orbital, means between T2G and EG set of d orbitals, electrons are participating in excitation and de-excitation, and in this excitation de-excitation process they are exhibiting color property, and this is happening when unpaired electrons are present. But here answer is not DD transition. Let us see why. Because the given species is KMnO4. In KMnO4, manganese is exhibiting plus 7 oxidation state. Manganese plus 7 means 4s0 3d0. And if you look at valency electronic configuration of manganese plus 7, there is no d electrons. When there is no unpaired d electrons, when there is no d electrons, there is no question of DD transition. Means even there is no d electrons, no dd transition, it is exhibiting color property. Reason behind this is ligand to metal charge transfer. Means here if you break this into 3 species, that is K plus, Mn plus 7 and 4 O minus 2. Electron deficient, but this is what say electron rich, and here this is negatively charged ion, anion means it has more electron density. As a result, more electron density means it can be considered as ligand. Generally what ligands will do? They will donate electron pairs to central metal ion, and here electron density transferred from anion, from ligand to metal ion. When electron density transferred to metal ion, it may get electrons, and because of those electrons it is exhibiting color property which is known as ligand to metal charge transfer. So the answer is first option. Now the question is, which of the following is correct statement? They are asking you to find a correct statement, and options are aqueous solutions of copper plus 1 and zinc plus 2 are colorless, aqueous solutions of copper plus 2 and zinc plus 2 are colorless, aqueous solution of iron plus 2 is green in color, aqueous solution of MnO4 minus is colorless. And let us see first option. Species given are copper plus 1 and zinc plus 2. If you look at copper and zinc, copper atomic number 29, 4s1 3d10, and they have given copper plus 1. Copper plus 1 means loss of 1 electron from 4s, means it is getting 3d10 configuration. It has d10 configuration 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And here all are paired electrons, unpaired electrons are absent, so it is not exhibiting any color property. If you look at zinc, atomic number is 30, valency configuration 4s2 3d10, and the given species is what say zinc plus 2. Zinc plus 2 means loss of 2 electrons from 4s, it become 4s0 3d10. Again d10 means same like configuration, means fully filled d subshell, unpaired electrons are absent, not exhibiting any color property. So in aqueous solution it may be copper plus 1 and it may be zinc plus 2, both are having fully filled d subshell, no unpaired electrons, not exhibiting any color property. So answer for this is first option. And but if you look at fourth option, you may get a doubt, that is MnO4 minus. In MnO4 minus, manganese is exhibiting plus 7 oxygen state which has 4s0 3d0. In manganese plus 7 also there is no unpaired electron. Actually it should not exhibit color property, but due to charge transfer concept from ligand to metal, it is exhibiting color property. Just now in the previous question we discussed. They are asking which of the following is correct statement. So answer is first option. Aqueous solutions of copper plus 1 and zinc plus 2 are colorless. We got it. So answer is first option.